Okay, so Noah just used the key and got in. The key transformed from a bumpy key to a smooth key, and then when he took the key out, it was bumpy again. And now we find out that he's in there. He's in the so-called secret zoo or some secret dark place or something. My prediction is it's the secret zoo. I don't know. Chapter 15. Ella and Richie have a great fall. Let me get this straight, Richie said. He and Ella were standing beside an oak tree near the zoo wall in their neighbor's backyard. They were looking at a branch that ran across the top of the wall. That branch is at least 20 feet high. You want me to climb up there, walk across it, leap onto the wall, and then jump into the zoo? Good plan, don't you think? I guess that depends on what kinds of animals are in there. Probably a bunch of peacocks, Ella assured him. She suddenly noticed something about Richie. He was wearing leather boots instead of normal running shoes. What in the world are your shoes? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Where? Where in the world are your shoes? In here, Richie said as he adjusted a backpack he'd brought with him, along with some other stuff. Supplies, you know. How come you're not wearing them? They're kind of bright and flashy. Good point, Ella said with an understanding nod. Probably not a good idea to burst into a zoo with shoes that practically glow in the dark. Richie pointed to the tree and shifted the conversation back to a greater concern. You think that branch will hold us? Ella tipped her head and considered his query for a moment. Her question came out like a question. Yes? That's convincing. Come on, Richie. Don't go and wimp out on me. We shouldn't even be in this yard, Richie said. We're trespassing. Yeah, Ella said, but since we're about to sneak into the zoo in the middle of the night, I don't think standing in someone's grass is such a big deal. Richie couldn't think of an answer to that. Listen, Richie, we don't have a choice. I mean, we've already lost Megan to whatever's going on in that crazy zoo. Are we ready to lose Noah too? Okay, Richie said, you're right. Ella nodded and sprang into action. With the grace of a gymnast, she jumped, twirled, kicked, and heaved her way up the tree. Within seconds, she reached the branch, 20 feet in the air. With some effort, a little time to recoup halfway, and a lot of grunting and whimpering, Richie managed to make his way up. Ella nodded at him and headed out across the branch, which ran parallel to the ground. She used smaller branches that stemmed from it for support and moved easily from one point to the next, stepping over patches of twigs and leaves. In no time, she swung down to the concrete wall, which had a wide, flat cap that overhung each side by a few inches. So that means she had a place to actually stand. Do you see any animals? Richie called out. She gazed over the wall. Nuh-uh, it's too dark. You've got your pen light, right? Richie patted his chest pocket. Just like a good scout. Okay, your turn. Richie inspected the distance beneath him. Here I come, I guess, he said. He took his first step, slipped, and started to flap his arms to keep his balance. His hips shifted from side to side, and his rear end pushed out in all the different directions. Richie, be careful! He managed to grab a branch and steady himself. After taking a few minutes to find his composure, he wiped his sweaty forehead and started again. He eventually moved the branch and jumped down to the wall. He pulled out his penlight. Let's see what's down there, Ella said. Richie tried to flick the switch of his penlight and instead flicked it right out of his hand. It clanked down on the wall, bounced once, and disappeared into the darkness of the zoo. The children stared down in disbelief. Oops, Richie said. Forget about it, Ella said. We'll take our chances. Are you sure? There could be more than peacocks down there. Well, let's hope not. They sat ready on the wall and prepared to jump. You ready? Ella said, or asked. I'm ready. On three? On three. Okay, here we go. Ella licked her top lip and started to count. 1, 2, 3. They pushed off the wall and plunged into the shadows. They free fell for what seemed to Ella a very long time, but was probably just a second or two. When Ella hit the ground, bolts of pain shot through her knees. That means she jumped from pretty high. The scouts had landed on a hill and immediately started to roll. 10 somersaults later, they came to a stop. Unfortunately, it happened to be in a pool of thick mud. Even more unfortunately, something beside Ella was breathing in her face, grunting an angry animal grunt. It was no peacock. I wonder what it is. If I was Ella and something was grunting in my face after I just jumped off a wall into a dark area, I don't know, what would you do?